What's up, fellas? We are back again for another episode of Market Check. I'm joined today by Jackus and Caroline Ellis, an American trader, also known as Will's Outlook. Max and Tommy are both on vacation, trying to work around it at times, but still both on vacation. I see we're also joined by King Wabi the First. So a little mix matched crew today, but it is what it is. We're gonna give you guys a good show. So um, kind of an interesting morning. I was watching IWM pretty closely. We saw a decent gap down there. Ooh, it's looking like a little breakdown from distribution on the lower time frames. Granted, I'm on the 15-minute here, boys. I'm on the 15-minute. But anyway, it's looking a little bit grim in legacy land. We did have VIX-piration today. We're seeing a little unpin of volatility with the VIX. Dollar is still kind of distributing up here. I wouldn't be shocked if it just kind of continued to do that. But anyway, most importantly, we're seeing Bitcoin just kind of hang out above range highs. We're gonna see if this puppy holds right here. But anyway, we've got some very smart guests on the show today, so I'm gonna kick it over to them, see what they got to say. But yeah, definitely interesting times in the market. So let's kick it over. Who wants it? Who wants the mic? Anybody? Will,
Wabi.
Jackus, Wabi.
Wabi, you with us?
Yeah,
I
I'm here.
can jump in.
James.
Sorry,
There he is.
I just got home. I'm prepping for Kansas City next week. Completely everything is completely at last minute. Got a few more errands to run after the show. But it is what it is. But I'm turning on my MacBook right now, and I'll turn on my camera and all that stuff. But it's not really that surprising to see BTC pull back from that wick. One thing that we said on the show, on our Discord show, was that this sort of price action is very indicative of Q4 of 2019 or even Q4 of 2022, right? Where you start having these BART type patterns where usually about 48 hours after the move, most of that upside volatility that we got was nothing more than a liquidity grab, right? So it's not really that shocking to see BTC give back some of those gains. And also, with that being said, not only is alt BTC bleeding a bit more, but of course, volatility on some of the names that we all know and love are just continuing to bleed against Bitcoin. So not that surprising. All BTC continuing to grind lower, dominance rising, and USDT price on Bitcoin giving back some of those gains. And this is the part of the cycle where patience is key. I like to call it time-based capitulation. So those are kind of like my opening thoughts, but I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to you guys and get set up on my Mac.
Will, Jackus, what you thinking here?
Yeah, sorry, I was just posting the video. Yeah, I don't think anything's structurally wrong with Bitcoin. I don't think that the pullback really means much at the moment. You gotta break below certain levels for me. Those lower levels, 26.5, is kind of where we're at now as far as support. You get below that, you can break the uptrend. Still holding well above the higher trend there. So you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Essentially, you got a 5-way pattern. Move up, pull back. This thing could chop up here for a while. I don't really see anything as far as structurally wrong with it. ETH BTC, it is what it is. We talked about it. I've talked about it. Not super bullish on alts, but at the same time, I'm taking some risk on. I think that when you look at these markets, they're very predatory in a way that kind of makes you sell positions at the wrong positions and buy positions at the high positions. Again, market was positioned well before any of the news catalyst stuff came out. So I think when you look at that, you basically look at this market like the catalyst didn't mean much, especially not in this price range. It meant more at the much higher price range. So we'll see at the end of the day. I think that they'll continue pressing higher with price. I don't think the price is just going to fall over from here. But if you end up structurally below 26.5, then I could visit that as a notion of we can go to maybe 25, so on and so forth. Then you got to take it level by level, essentially. 30K is kind of your cap there right now, though. And it's funny because before it was what? It was 28K was your cap, and now 30K is your cap. And before that, it was 27 was your cap, right? And now 30 is your cap. Like again, this is the structure of higher highs, higher lows. This is why you always pay attention to that over everything, and you play the trend as you see it, right? As far as we're looking at all this, we'll see what happens there. I don't see a lot going on with Dixie. I don't see a lot going on with oil. They're both kind of chopping the range we spoke about. Again, trapped between 85 and 95 for oil. Dollar stuck between 105 and 107, 108. Actually, 108. We'll just go 108. We'll just keep it even, right? You're basically trapped in a range on both. You're not really going to do much for anything at the moment. It's more or less just a chop range till the market wants to basically move higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. I think if the dollar distributes up here, it's going to be eventually good for risk. But while it does that, it's going to be tough to catch a huge bid as long as we stay above like 105. But Jackus, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I just shared the chart.
Yeah,
let's talk about.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, we'll talk about a few things. I'm in agreement as well. We've been discussing this. To me, this move means absolutely nothing. It's actually what I wanted because I still think we should be retracing to this level. We discussed that one, where we come back and retest this demand. I'm trying to view this price action as if this fake news didn't happen. I'm trying to imagine as like these 3 candles and 15 candles are not even there. Maybe something like on H1 without this wick. So I'm looking for a pullback down here to retest this demand. That's a clean structure. And we have this level nicely confluent with many other things. So first of all, this level is confluent with a mid-range, of this entire thing. How long was it been? It's 218 days around. Sorry, yeah. So it's a mid-range of this entire range, definitely strong level. We have managed since August, we have managed for the first time to truly reclaim it. It's also confluent with the 200-day moving average. This one is pretty strong. We know that, we've seen the reaction. Obviously, this one was confluent with many other stuff, but it's significant level nonetheless. So a good confluence around that level. All in all, we keep on ranging. So like these moves are normal. And as I keep on reminding guys, do not get excited over upside until we reclaim 30K or BNB 220. Do not get excited on these down moves like some people were down here. We kept saying that with Will, that we keep ranging. This is possible. It was. I still think it's worth watching at the alternative pairs like, BTC Euro, much cleaner range that we have already reclaimed, strong bounce. But once again, what we want to see is a reclaim of horizontals too. We are not seeing that yet, but we are very close. We are very close, but do not get excited until we do.
Can you, Jackus, could you put higher, low, higher, low, higher, low on the chart? Because some people just don't understand what that means. And go ahead and place that where that is.
Yeah, I legit had that from our discussion yesterday, Will. And just before I started to share the screen, I deleted all those because I wanted to have the chart clean. So I'll put them back on. You want me to do it on BTC?
Yeah, let's do it on BTC to start with.
Okay, so here, guys, we had a clean. I'll start since the bull market because it's so you guys understand. We had a clear, low, then obviously higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Although some would say here, that we had lower high, and that's totally true. We had, and then we had a lower low and lower high, but this entire move was within this one, right?
It was
So-
within the demand.
Yeah, exactly. So still no structure broken, but then we got this one. We got once again high, higher low, and higher high. And what's different here is that here we broken above all-time high, and then we lost the structure, right? Below here,
You were forming lower lows after that.
Yeah, once we broken here, I was calling that we need to go below 29K because that's how ranges play. But what they did is that they made lower high first on the weekly, then higher low, then higher high, and this makes people bullish. But still, we were in the middle of this leg down. So anything here is still lower high. And this is where market structure can get confusing for people or hard to read. When you get like these higher highs, higher lows, but they forget it's inside of some leg, and you need to see the broader picture. So the time frame thingy with market structure, that's what's hard. Okay, otherwise it's not that hard. So then we got the sell-off. We got a new lower low. This entire leg was one impulsive leg lower. We got lower highs, then we got the chop, then we got a lower high once again, even this one, and we got the final cycle low. What happens after is we make another lower high, but then we make higher low. Okay, so that was happening during the bear market all around. So
Well, you had a bull dip down there too. From that whole low end range, if you were to put on the RSI, you had a bull dip playing from basically July to October.
Wait, hang on.
Wait,
let's address that real quick. It's definitely not good for the space, man. It's definitely not good to have that kind of clownery in our native crypto media just be complete clowns and liquidate $100 million in like 5 minutes. Like that's not good for crypto in general. Like
no, but I've seen it in stocks too before. Like it's not like this is the only place that happens and people lie and BS on the news. Like
I know, but we gotta be better. We gotta hold ourselves to a higher standard.
But that's not us. That's other
people. We want people to. I know. I'm talking. Yeah, I just mean crypto, not because Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, if you got your news from Cointelegraph, go look at our Twitter page because our man Valentin is our secret German weapon. He just cranks news like that. He's faster than all them.
We know on. We don't report on what we guess.
Yeah, he's better than all of them. He's faster, hands down. It's just a fact. I'm not even shilling. Just go look. But anyway, I don't think it's bullish for crypto that that Cointelegraph is a bunch of clowns. But
you know what else I don't think is bullish?
I
don't think our like button's bullish right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Here we go. Nice.
Hit him with it.
I think it's very unbullish. I think you guys need to go ahead and hit that like button. I know you may not come in here and hear what you want to hear, but we come in and we tell you what we see with honest opinion, right? Honest opinion. Again, I'll be like 100% with you guys. Like I know a lot of you guys like, oh, this guy's always bullish. Look, 2022, I was destroying the market to the downside because that's the directionality of the market. It was to the downside. Right now, if you were to look at the current market, this is to the side, right? Not to the downside, not to the upside, to the side. So it means the market's literally just going like this. That's it. Like, people need to stop freaking out and tell me how it's going to go down, how it's going to go up, all this good stuff. Look, directionally,
Yeah.
we're building to the upside, but we're still going this way, sideways. Stop calling down, stop calling up. Just pay attention to what's going on. We're chopping sideways. Yes, we can come down a little bit, but guess what? Our chop range is clearly identical. Look, Jackus has it right there on the chart. You have your low and you have your high right now. That's where we're at. We're stuck between those two price ranges until we're not. Whether it goes up or whether it goes down. Like, irrelevant of the whole news catalyst with the whole Coin Telegraph thing, we were pressing 28K before Coin Telegraph came out, and that was like 6 to 8 hours before that ever happened. And we actually, I think it was much sooner than that, because I was looking at the chart the night before and it was already at 28K. So I mean, we can sit there and try and pretend like, hey, it's going to go to 10K all we want. But again, I think you're living in a fantasy world if you're sitting there calling for 10K when we got many levels to break before we get to there. Right? You still got 15K as support now. You still got 20K as support as a level now. You got 25K as a support as a level now. You got 3 levels to break through before you could even attempt to call for 10K. So again, just play the chart as you see it, play the levels as you see it. Don't sit there and try and call some, extraneous type of move with the market when, there's no reason for that to happen at the moment, right? And if you're calling for a black swan, look, go out in the back alley, bet somebody $1 million, throw your dice, and call for snake eyes, okay? Because that's what you're doing with black swans. It's not going to happen. Black swans, white swans, you get those maybe once, twice every decade. We got one already, COVID. Good luck finding a second one literally a couple years later. But go ahead and continue, Jackus.
Yeah, I'll follow up on what Zodiac was saying, and I have one thing that I agree with him and one that I disagree and want to address. So he was saying, guys, are we pretending the scammy pump is bullish for the space? I don't think anyone is pretending that scam pump is bullish for the space. If anything, the whole thing with Cointelegraph was like they just raped their reputation. But for the price, it doesn't really mean either bullish or bearish. It simply means they just raped their reputation, and that's all it is. What we are saying is that imagine, or not imagine, just look at the chart, what happened regardless. So we were uptrending prior to it. Then there is a pump and there is the dump, and the price just continues where it started, as if it not has happened. There was no follow through on the downside. There was nothing. They just raped their reputation. That's it, and then market continues as it were, and that's
The market
all
continued
that
exactly as it was. Exactly.
And that's not like, this is not a thing of opinion or anything. It's just a fact, on the chart. Then he's saying that. And then he's saying, like, come on, our industry looks even more clowny after that shit show. And I agree with you there that, things like this is definitely annoying for anyone outside of the space to see. But we still need to keep in mind, and I totally agree. The thing is that this market is still very new, very low liquid, and it's easy to manipulate. But let's not pretend that stocks were not the same in their early stages. All markets are that way. And it takes time for the market to mature, and we need to keep in mind that crypto is just so new, and that's why we are here, right? I'm not saying I like it, I dislike it, but it will happen. But sooner or later, these bad players will be gone, or like this bad behavior, and there will always be, even in stock market nowadays, anyone that can will try to manipulate the market to their benefit. Anyone, even in the stock market. It's just that it's way harder to do that nowadays in stock market. But back in the day, it wasn't. And I think it's the same. So that's my take on that. And then Zodiac says, yep, seeing the same bulls shilling anything is just so tiresome. And I mean, isn't that the same for the bears? Like, they kept shilling us, 0, 12K, 10K. That's also pretty tiresome. And like, me here, I'm giving you the reasons why I think the market is bullish or so. I think they are very. It's not just my opinions. Like, yeah, we're gonna go up because I wish we do that, but I'm also giving you the reasons with the facts. I'm giving you like what I'm seeing. I'm giving you the fibs. I'm comparing the market cycles, and then I'm trying to give you the ideas. But then it's up to you what you do with the data. What we are basically doing here is trying to show you as much data as we are seeing, and then you need to do your own due diligence. And it's the same. When you say it's so tiresome, that's Zodiac, because let's not pretend. I've seen your comments over the past days and weeks, and you keep on being sort of perma bearish. It is what it is, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying as it is. I understand it can be tiresome for you if you are bearish to hear someone being bullish. Definitely, we like to look for that sentiment confirmation bias. We all do, but
I don't think he's a perma bear. I think he's just skeptical, which is fair.
which is totally okay.
Yeah,
and I say
yeah.
that.
Well,
But
don't think for a second I'm not skeptical. I'm always skeptical, bullish or
we are
bearish.
skeptical.
I'm
Yeah.
always skeptical. of
and
the
I
move.
I mean, I give myself reasons why I think why we are like what are the bearish arguments, and I gave mine, and I kept asking in each show would I like give me bearish arguments, and I said myself, I think the bearish arguments here are still Binance and SEC regulation. Those are still valid ones, and I keep on reminding them. I keep on reminding, do not get excited over any upside until we break 30K on BTC. I say, do not get excited until we break 220 on BNB. And it might be even annoying to keep listening to me saying this, but I'm trying to play it as fair as possible. And I say the same for the downside. Do not get too excited until BNB breaks that range lows, And if it does, then I give, like speaking for myself, I give clean invalidation levels for the higher time frames as well. So just wanted to address that.
Well, real quick too, Jacket. I don't know. Like different traders trade different ways too. Like a lot of traders view low time frames. That's what I find refreshing about Jackus. He's one of the few traders who's willing to zoom out and look at structure from a higher time frame, and then dial it into where we're at, and then kind of like, all right, since the higher time frame is saying this is our level, down it in at a smaller time frame, we can look at it from this level and this level. This is where we need to be. And really, that's what takes a lot of traders a long time to develop, is to be able to look at the high time frames and roll it back into the low time frames and figure out where your confluence is in the chart, right? Like if you were to take this high time frame here on a weekly, you can see we're basically at the 50, right? And the 50 is a very important level when it comes to any type of price action or price movement. As long as you stay above the 50% level, you're on the bullish side of the move, right? If you're below the 50% level, you're kind of moving into the bearish side of the move. That means you probably hit resistance and you could trend back down to the lows. But anytime you get above the 50, it's very, very important to pay attention to the charts, because your move can continue back to whatever the high was, right? We're not even calling for like 40, 50, 100K guys like a lot of these guys are on Twitter. We're literally just playing the range as we see it, right? If the range goes up to his one there and rejects, guess what? We're probably coming back to the 50. And if it breaks the 50, we're probably coming back to the 0, which is right there at the low, the 24,784 or 85. So because we see this in the chart, we just kind of try to play the range as it is, right? And for now, it's to the upside. And if it breaks below that 28K, we'll say roughly, right? If it breaks below the 28K range, then we have good potential to come back down to the lows. But you don't diddle in the middle. That's kind of the saying. Snorlax kind of came up with that one. It's been one that's been trending in the BB group, but you don't play in the middle of the range, right? So we're not longing here, right? We're not short. At least I'm not. I can't speak for everybody. We're not shorting here. We're just kind of paying attention. And if it gets back to the high, we can see high time frame resistance. That's where we'll play the higher. The higher play is at your high and at your low, right? And you play resistance as resistance until it's not. And so resistance would be that 31K, right? And if you wanted to be short, that's where you would be short. If you want to be long, you would be long at the 25K range. That's basically how you want to view these two ranges. You want to view them like, okay, where are we at in the chart, and what do we want to do when we get there? And if we break through the 31K with force and we get to like 35 in one go, guess what? Boom, we probably broken that whole liquidity zone. We're in the next one. Now we got to play between 30K and 35K, or 30K and 40K, whatever that next high end range is. So for now, we're just kind of playing between these two ranges of 31 and 25, and we're operating based on what side of that range are we on. And we're closer to the 31 than we are to the 25 based on the 50. So we're playing the high end range. We're playing the likeliness to the upside based on the way the chart's set up. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody, but that's kind of at least how I kind of play this, right? I play what's the higher odds trade. It's usually the side that the price is leaning towards. If the price is leaning towards lower, it'll be below the 50. If the price is leaning towards higher, it will be above the 28. And we could say, well, the wick. Yes, the wick. We understand the wick. And even scam wicks tend to get filled. I will put that out there. Even Tucker, he even knows that one. Jackus knows that one. Even scam wicks tend to get filled.
There he is. There's our man. What's up, Bobby?
What's up, guys? Tekla from Apex is going to be joining us in about 10 to 15 minutes, guys. In case you didn't know, Apex Dex is one of our latest partners and sponsors of the Because Bitcoin brand. And, if you guys are familiar with DYDX or Bybit, the interface should be pretty familiar to you. So we'll be having her on in the next 10 to 15 just for a quick intro for you guys in the audience.
Yeah, I'll quickly continue to where I originally started. And just once again, I want to prove you guys facts. So we've been downtrending. We've been creating lower highs and lower lows, and then surely we sometimes had a higher high, like here in March 22, but it was inside of this leg. And then what happened here? This is where the structure shifted. We had lower high as well here, but we made higher low. That itself wasn't a big deal because we had those previously, like here and here. But the thing is that we made a higher high here, but not just above the December 2020 high, but also above the October 2022 high. So we've broken two lower highs in one go here. That was an impulsive, changing the structure, or breaker of the structure, whatever you want to call it. That was the move. And what happened since then? So we created a lower high, but then higher low, then higher high, then higher low, then higher high, then higher low, and another higher high, and another higher low. So this is not a thing of speculation. This is a fact. We have a bullish weekly structure on BTC. Yes, technically, right now we are in a range, and we keep on reminding. We are giving reasons, and I keep on saying until we reclaim 30K, it's not a time to get excited. We are merely anticipating and giving you that the probabilities here favor further continuation. But the hard fact of the market is that the market is bullish, and it's not bearish. It doesn't have a bearish structure. There is nothing bearish about this, and I just don't see it. But I told you that the valid bearish arguments are, and this is my takes, of course, and what you do with those is up to you. But the valid bearish arguments are that there can be still some troubles with Binance, and there can still be some trouble with the SEC regulation. I think that one is quickly fading away with SEC. We will see how it is with Binance, going forward. But these are the hard facts. And then, if we zoom in a little bit, once again, we have reclaimed the mid-range of this one, of the latest one on the daily. We've broken about these two key swing highs. So I'm seeing more bullish arguments than the bearish one, even within this range. Even here, we are uptrending on the daily. So we are uptrending on many, many time frames. And bearish arguments are quickly fading. And now we even have gold rallying up a lot and silver as well. So, you know, that's what I'm seeing. You don't have to agree with it, and that's totally okay. For example, Zodiac said, and I think that's a totally valid argument. Like I said, until we reclaim 200 weekly SMA and 221 weekly EMA, I will remain bearish, and that's totally fine with me.
Here's the thing though. What? And I'm not. The reason we respond to you guys in the audience is because we care. Just so you guys know, it's not
Yes.
because we're trying to rebuttal you or anything like that. It's because we want to give attention to our audience, obviously. But
Yes,
I'll tell you this: when it comes to MAs, EMAs, so on and so forth, do some traders use them? Yes. Do some traders not? Yes. When you're trying to point to an individual indicator, you're trying to say, well, because this indicator hasn't done this, this means that the market's bad or the market's good, right? And either you can swing that in either way. I think when it comes down to trying to find the simplistic answer, it's going to basic market structure, which has nothing to do with indicators. It just has to do where are we at in the chart? Are we forming higher highs, higher lows? Are we consolidating within a range? So that's basic market structure that every trader can agree on. Indicators are individually based, right? Maybe Jackus uses them, maybe he doesn't. Maybe I use them, maybe I don't. I'll tell you this. Look, I'll tell you my two favorite indicators. It's stochastic RSI. I like that much more than MAs, EMAs, or SMAs, right? Smooth moving averages. And then you got basically moving averages. And then you got the other ones, which are basically a lot more, we'll say, intricate as far as like time span. They cluster the beginning ones a lot more closer, and they fill in all the gaps. MAs is a lot more spread. SMAs is even more spread, right? It's more smooth. It's trying to smooth out that choppiness in the MA. So when you're looking at a lot of these, you may be like, well, I use the EMA or I use the SMA or I use the MA and so on and so forth. And because this one's a lot more up to date, this one works better. No, these are all lagging indicators. And MA, EMA, and SMA are all lagging indicators. They happen after the fact. They always happen after the fact. I've watched so many death crosses end up being bullish, and people sit there call them death crosses. It's actually hilarious.
I don't think it's so much about death or golden cross. It's just like, while you're underneath this, it's good to be bearish. When you're above
the Ichimoku cloud,
it's good to. No, this is just the band, the bull market support band.
Yeah, it's the same as Ichimoku cloud. It's basically the same thing. They both utilize MAs, and they both had that little.
This is what. Well, these are the exact two that Zodiac's talking about, right? So, here you got above it. You used it as support. You broke it. Your retest. I mean, if it closes above here, sure. Like that's what he's saying. Like flip and close.
But you're not below it. So what's the argument here?
I mean, you haven't closed above it. You are like, above it. If you close the week up here,
we can all agree, man. I think we can all agree Bitcoin has not done almost anything in almost 6 months
since March.
Yeah, it's consolidating. That's what it's doing. It's literally consolidating. It's just playing between two ranges.
Like unless you're a good range trader, Bitcoin has not been a fun asset to trade. If you go on the 3-day, most of the upside volatility is comprised within 2 or 3 3-day candles, and then it's just been distribution and downward chop. The entire liquidity sector of this market, when we factor in upside, has been in on-chain alts.
Wabi, I know you're a seasonality guy and a history guy. What do you think about the She candle in October of 2019?
Yeah, I think that's different, right? Simply because the market was a lot lower, right? We had bottomed in December of 2018 with a market cap of like just under 100 bill, right? Which is tiny, right? So, we did almost a 4x off of that bottom. So of course you're going to have that volatility to the downside, right? But if we factor in market maturity, this cycle, right, this pre-halving cycle going into the halving year, it could be more comparable to 2015, 2016. And that's just what I'm going to go off of. And I'm not really going to give myself a headache trying to think differently about that. So, it wouldn't really surprise me to end the year at like 30, 31, 32.
Yeah, that would be
May I
unfortunate, though.
quickly jump to the EMAs still? Just quickly to what Zodiac was also saying. If we just put in a simple 20 weekly moving average and 50 moving average, 50-week average. So if you look back, these are very, very decent ones, for the longer term trends on the weekly. And I, by the way, think, just looking at this, there was the bull market in 15, 16, then you get the bear market, then you start to trade above these two, and that's where the bull market started. And what did we get here? We got the bull market, then bear market, and now we are trading above. And potentially, it's not closed until it's closed, but we could get possibly a weekly close above that 20 weekly moving average. It's also close above the mid-range since March, and also 200 daily moving average. So I think these are pretty good arguments. But once again, it's just a confluence. Yeah, that's it from me.
Wobby, you're on mute, brother.
Yeah, I think similarities that we can look at is, the overall uptrend where buy the dip makes sense and it's continuously trending instead of crabbing, is that they were all formed on a wick, right, to the downside, and kind of looking for that now, right? But my thing is alts, to be honest. So
Yeah, alts are gonna be tough here, man.
yeah, right.
I think
they're continuing to bleed.
I think you still have time in alts, Bobby. I think you're right on that, and I think like that's the obvious play, right? Is just wait your time out for alts if that's what you're looking for, and then if you want to, you can dabble in some Bitcoin, so on and so forth. If you want to capitulate that upside potential, which is not a lot at the moment. I mean, we're not advocating for much in either direction. We're not advocating for much down. We're not advocating for much up. It's just kind of this slow, methodical move.
This is time based capitulation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's time based,
Yeah.
and I don't think
it's waiting out the impatient.
Yeah, I don't think people are ready for Bitcoin not to make a new all time high until Q1 of 2025. So that's where my head is at, right? Potentially even early Q2, right? If you take a look at how we topped out in the 2013 cycle, 2012, 2013, where there was double peaks, right? It took Bitcoin a little over 14 months, like 14 months and a few weeks of change, in order for it to reclaim all-time high, right? And then it retested that all-time high. And I think that's another thing for the next cycle that might wig some people out, right? Not only time-based, but once you cross 69K, retest or even break a little bit below and make people think it's all over, pile in shorts, and then that's what rips up K plus. But I think one thing, man, that people are starting to not sort of price in is Bitcoin adjusted for inflation. And since the peak at 69K in November of 2021, if we factor in inflation adjusted, Bitcoin would actually have to surpass $80,000 in order for it to truly, break all-time high. It's kind of like that chart that Joe shared with gold with inflation adjusted. Gold hasn't made like a true all-time high since 1980, right? Same thing with the Nasdaq, right? Nasdaq topped out .com March of 2000 and inflation adjusted. And Nasdaq has a long ways to go. So I think that's one thing people should start, taking into consideration. And if the next cycle all we do is break a little bit, above 100K, that's barely anything, right? So kind of hoping for the next cycle, we see a bigger number than just 100K, right? Maybe 140, 150, 160, 180. So,
Just put in the BTC adjusted for US CPI Wabi chart.
I like that. That's really clean. If you got a minute, Tucker.
why is it?
Yeah,
why
what's
is
up?
it
Share
at?
screen. When he's
Oh
done.
yeah.
Why is it at like 300, 240? Is there a way where like we can put it where it shows like the true nominal amount?
Oh, we've got
Oh.
Tekla in here, Wabi.
Oh, hey Tekla, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey,
All good. How are you guys?
Hello.
Good.
just a little bit of mic issues from your end. Not sure if anyone else
no.
can hear properly.
She's good.
You can't hear me, or is my voice cutting out?
Yeah, it's a bit choppy on my end.
I'm gonna try to
I mean, you sound good to me.
No, she's all right.
She's
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe it's not the issue on my end.
Yeah, it sounds like very far away now, but yeah, guys, everyone, welcome Tekla. She's representative of Apex, one of our latest partners and sponsors of the Because Bitcoin brand. Tekla, if you want to give an introduction on who you are and what you do for Apex, feel free to go ahead.
Hi everyone. I can't really see you from my interface, but thank you for having me on the show. My name is Tekla. I am head of business development at Apex Protocol. The main thing to know about us is Apex Pro is a decentralized, non-custodial, permissionless derivatives DEX, and yeah, we are very happy to be partnering with Because Bitcoin.
Awesome. So, what can you tell us about some of the latest developments that you guys have going on with Apex? I know, I know the team has a video scheduled to make with you, so we can go a bit more in depth about the protocol sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has been happening. The history of Apex, actually, we're not even like 1 year old yet. We launched the DEX back in November 2022, which was, I think it was about 2 weeks after FTX crashed, so it was an exciting time. I think all of us on the team were quite, anxious about how things were going to pan out. But it has been an amazing year. We have developed the exchange a lot. We have upgraded it numerous times. We have been adding new trading pairs, new networks to deposit and withdraw from, which is an important feature for our users, new types of wallet connections, social login. In terms of what we've been doing of late, the latest upgrade has been an addition of Telegram trading bot. Telegram trading bots have been all the rage lately, and we decided to develop our own, which allows our users yet another trading terminal to access Apex from. So essentially, they can sync their login status, open positions, check their existing positions. Right now, trading is only limited to BTC and Ethereum pairs, but we are planning to expand that offering as well and add new features to the bot that is going to make it, a more useful thing to have, essentially like on your phone in your pocket. Of course, we also have the web and mobile versions of the exchange that the users can trade on. Yeah, additionally, I mean, we've integrated new chains, as I said. Mantle was the latest one that we integrated. We're sort of in the same ecosystem as them, alongside Bybit. Bybit is another company that I'm sure a lot of listeners are very well familiar with. In terms of the new developments, we have exciting plans for the future as well. We are planning to integrate social trading tools and create SBTs for our users, the soulbound tokens, which will be their social identities on the platform. And we are en route to have those upgrades ready for our users by the end of Q4 this year. So exciting things are ahead for us.
Tekla, so outside of what Apex is up to and what you do for Apex, like as far as yourself, how did you get into the crypto industry, and what is it about this industry that attracts you to it?
So this is an interesting story because Apex is actually my first crypto job. Before then, I used to be in very traditional real estate consultancy business for quite a while. I've always been aware of crypto. My interest in crypto sort of serious interest in crypto started in 2018, maybe 2017, 2018. But I didn't make a career move back then. But then, I thought I wanted to gradually, especially like after COVID, during COVID, and especially afterwards, I realized that I wanted to move to Web3 in crypto industry because it always seemed like more welcoming, more egalitarian place where you could develop further. And it's the kind of industry that is almost always on, it's very cutting edge. You're on the edge of development, on the edge of innovation, which is something that has always attracted me about crypto industry. It's also, wildly unpredictable, which for some can be quite intimidating, but I love the challenge that poses. So yeah, there were like multiple factors influencing my decision to join, but yeah, generally I had been aware of the industry for years before I made the move to join as a, professional. But I'm very happy. It has been a hectic year. It has been a very tumultuous year, but this is one of the, I guess, if you enjoy it, this is one of the main attractions of working in the crypto industry, I guess, for those of us who like the like the stress of it.
So, Tekla, how are you guys viewing the overall state of the market as far as conditions, liquidity, and all that stuff? How have things changed from the start of the year up until now? Are you guys seeing more user growth, more TVL across chains, more unique wallets? As far as like the internals of it and the state of the market, right? That some people might not be aware of. What are you guys, or even yourself? What are you personally seeing within the markets?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have been observing the market and also observing how our internal dynamics change in accordance with the market, whether we have been following the overall trends, whether we have been diverging. Obviously, compared to the beginning of the year, to the mid-year, the past couple months have not been ideal, perhaps, from the trading standpoint, from the standpoint of trading volume. However, something that we've consistently seen and something that has encouraged us and sort of given us a lot more enthusiasm, I guess, as a team, is that we have been experiencing user growth even during the times when we haven't really been seeing a lot of trading, and not just for us and our exchange, but generally on the market. We have been seeing that the user base has been growing, and of course that is due to our own efforts, but also efforts of our very close partners, people and companies that we closely align with and partner with. So yeah, that has been very encouraging to see. It's a good indication that we are moving in the right direction, that we are introducing the products that our clients, our customers, our users like to see. I think launch of the SLP, which I didn't mention before, which is the smart liquidity pool. Exactly, I believe it was like a month back now. I think that created a lot of impetus for a lot of users to use Apex. So essentially what SLP is, it's a tool, a product that allows users to become market makers for Apex. You deposit USDC and you earn USDC back as a form of passive income while providing liquidity to the platform. And every time we have increased the pool cap, we have seen it get oversubscribed within like hours of the announcement going out. So there's definitely a lot of excitement about this particular product. So yeah, I mean, as I said, like it has not been an ideal market. There has been a lot of fluctuation. Everybody's obviously waiting for the bull period to hit, and there are definitely a lot of diverging opinions on when it's going to happen. A lot of people related to the election period in the States. A lot of people saying it's not going to happen until 2025. Some put it even beyond that. Hopefully it's not going to be that kind of a long-term thing. But as far as our protocol and our product development is concerned, it has been very encouraging to see that users have been expressing a lot more interest in Apex, have been trading a lot more on Apex. So like referring more people to Apex as well. So in terms of product development and like the track that we are on, I think we're on the right path.
So I'll kick it over to Jackus or Tucker now. Guys, if you have anything to bring to Tekla, anything you want to give attention to, feel free to go ahead. I know we only have like about 5 or so minutes left on the stream.
I think it was pretty interesting speech. Love to hear new stuff coming in. No worries.
We will have a lot more to talk about tomorrow. I know this is a very sort of superficial overview of Apex, and yeah, I mean it has been as even from like a perspective of somebody who has been working on the project. It's been a really interesting experience. That have been challenging, but I think what matters is how you face those challenges and overcome it. And that has been a really nice experience to go through with our team.
Yeah, it was definitely good to hear that you guys been growing despite the market conditions, and let's not pretend they have not been bad.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it has been less than optimal.
Yeah, I think though, like when you look at it, like a lot of people, I've actually heard that from quite a few different businesses. Like I continue to hear lack of liquidity, but I continue to hear projects saying, "Hey, we're growing, we're getting more users, and we're finding liquidity in a market that everybody claims is liquidity doesn't have liquidity, right? At the end of the day." And I think on chain, if you go on chain, even though I think a lot of liquidity has exited and is still in the process of doing so, I think there is still inflows. Like when you go on chain and you look at the data and everything like that through Dex Screener and Masari and everything like that, you can see a lot of daily like heavy inflows to crypto specifically. And I'm seeing a lot of them actually moving more on projects that don't have a lot of attention, more than projects that do. So I'm seeing like these smaller projects that you would think would be failing right now actually getting a lot of that liquidity that they need to continue to prevail. So it's been interesting for me, just looking at that as far as on chain and stuff like that. And I think like new dexes, new exchanges, new CXs, like those are gonna be the things that bring a lot of the new liquidity, because that's how you onboard, right? You onboard through these ease of access platforms, and it brings in the liquidity and it brings the attention to those platforms specifically. I've always been very bullish on CEXs and DEXs and all that stuff like that, because I think a lot of new users, they start there and then they kind of move around and shit around the space after they figure out how to operate in a better way. And I don't mean like CEX are not a better way. What I mean by that is like they have more options, right? Once they figure out they have more options. But they always start on these platforms and work their way out from there. So it's always good to see new ones popping up in the middle of bears and stuff like that. It makes me a lot more bullish on them. Did you have anything you want to add there, Tucker?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just to entertain it, what would your pitch be to somebody that is trading somewhere else? Why come over to Apex? Just like your elevator pitch, one-liner. Like, I'd love to hear it.
Well, are they trading on another DEX or are they trading on a centralized exchange?
They're doing
Because
both.
if they're trading on a centralized exchange, I think that's relatively, not relatively easy. It's just obvious, I guess. It's apparent. It's a centralized exchange. You have full custody of your own funds. Whether KYC is an issue for you or not, I think custody is the number one issue for everyone. At least should be, after everything that we've seen happen on the market and with the kind of scrutiny that is now directed towards centralized exchanges. When you trade on Apex, and this is something that actually is very interesting to me, because I think even though we've been talking about custody for a very long time, I think overall, generally, there is still very much a knowledge gap about like what self-custody actually means when it comes to trading on DEX. So a lot of people have the impression that when they deposit on Apex, that they deposit money from their MetaMask or from another wallet of theirs into an Apex wallet, and that's simply not how it works, because it's a decentralized exchange. What happens is you essentially the money that you have, it remains in your custody, in your ownership. You're just initiating an interaction with a smart contract in order to be able to then execute the trades and transactions that you initiate on our platform. But the money never leaves your possession. The money never leaves your ownership. Plus, we have all these tools at hand. Something that we call a security hatch. We also have forced rates and forced withdrawals. So of course, nobody's safe, fully safe, I guess. And if a doomsday scenario were to work out, for some reason, if Apex were no longer accessible, all of our users can execute forced trades or forced withdrawals and reclaim all the money that they had engaged on Apex in a trade or had deposited on Apex. So I think the security of funds is something that is an important element with us, something that is at the root of the value statement of Apex. And like in terms of like if you're trading on another DEX, like I think one of the reasons why I would move to Apex is First of all, ease of use. I think our platform is one of the easiest to get used to. Also, the interface is super user-friendly, very similar to centralized exchange user interfaces because, when we were doing sort of pre-launch research, that was something that was coming up over and over again, that the centralized exchanges, the existence once at the time, were just simply not as user-friendly, or were not deemed as user-friendly as needed. So that was one of the reasons why we decided to make Apex an order book, and also why we decided to model the interface onto something like Bybit, for example, to make it easy for the users to get used to trading on a DEX. Plus, it's a layer 2. It's built on infrastructure provided by Starkware called StarkX. It's super secure. It's preserves privacy. It's super fast. So trading on Apex is a very smooth experience. And like the last thing that I would like to do, sort of the third pillar, is revenue sharing. We have a lot of programs that, as I mentioned, SLP. There's also staking, trade to earn, referral program. Tons of opportunities for our users to share into the revenues of the protocol, which is, one of those, premises that any good Web3 project is built on. So a little bit of a lengthy elevator pitch, but here you go.
Great stuff, Tekla. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Looking forward to having you on our spaces over the next coming weeks, and looking forward for the team to make that video for you guys. So I want to thank you all in the audience. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're just coming on to the hour, and the team does have to go to a meeting in a couple of minutes. So I want to thank you all so much. We hope you enjoyed this presentation, and also we hope you enjoyed the introduction to Tekla from Apex Protocol. Apex Protocol, once again, guys, is one of our latest partners and sponsors of Because Bitcoin brand. So go ahead and give us a like button if you guys enjoyed today's presentation, and we'll see you all tomorrow at the same time. So Tucker, if you want to send us off, man, go on right ahead, brother.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bobby pretty much said it all, but we will we'll be on Spaces later, so be sure to check that out. But if not, we will be back tomorrow. So always like and subscribe. It really helps us out. But anyways, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. So see you guys later.